In May of 2023, our area had a really nasty storm. Knocked out the power for like 3 days. Believe it or not, I actually got this on camera, the storm, and if you want to see what I went through, well then stick around because it's pretty insane. But ever since the power outage, I sort of went in this like obsession mode with power supplies, outdoor generators, inverters, and then other companies started coming out with larger power supplies, and I brought them to the channel, but a lot of people also told me that I was bringing the wrong one. They said the one I should be bringing to the channel is the Ecoflow Max Delta 2. So here we are. If you're thinking about getting the Ecoflow Max Delta 2, you might want to watch this video. We're going to talk about everything, how powerful it is, how fast it'll charge, how fast it'll discharge. Probably the coolest thing about this entire unit is not only can you plug this in and charge it, but you can charge it solar. They come with their own solar panels, and this is the one thing that everybody wanted to see on the channel, a solar powered power supply. So let's just get into it. All right, so you can decide to buy this a couple different ways. You can buy 2 of these at the same time. You can buy the one and then get the solar panels with it, or you can buy the unit by itself. And as I'm making this video, Amazon Prime Day has these on sale for the lowest price I've ever seen them. I'll leave a link in the description below. You'll never find them lower than what you will right now. So just looking at the Ecoflow Delta Max, it looks kind of boring, but I can assure you it's not. So right here is your power button. That's for this side of the control panel. Now what you have here is 2 C drives. Each of those are 100 watts and they charge your phone super fast. And you also have 4 USB ports. So you got 2 that are your regular standard charging, and then you got 2 fast ports. So the ones with the blue, super fast, one with this, a little bit slower. Now the fun part is on the other side of this unit. You have a bunch of different outlets on this. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this port right here is basically where you would charge like your cigarette lighter in your car. If you had something that you needed to go into there, you could use that. Same thing as on the other side. You hit this button, turns this panel on, hit this button, turns that on. Hit it again, shuts it off. Then on the back right here, well, this is where you plug in your solar panel. So you got 2 outlets for your solar panel. You can charge this thing using this cord right here. And this comes with it. This basically plugs into your wall. And then this right here plugs into that right there. And then right there, you have a circuit reset. Now, the cool thing about this is it's all digital, and they're bigger numbers, so anybody can see this. This is telling you your watts in, so if you're charging it with your solar panels or through the electric cord, it's gonna tell you how much power you're pulling in. And then you got to power out, and that's telling you how much you're discharging. So if you got something hooked up, well, it's gonna let you know how much you're putting out. It's also gonna tell you how much power you have left right here, and how many hours or minutes you have right there. And then on this side of the unit, well, you can plug in different ones of these. You can hook them up together. So say you're out off grid, you're living in an RV, whatever, you can run these power supplies and hook them up together. Now, if you decide to buy the kit with the solar panel, this is a 220 watt. This is where a lot of people get excited, because if you're off grid or you're camping and you don't have any power supply to charge that thing back up, well, this is where these come in very, very handy. Let's go hook them up, and I want to talk to you about some of the positives and definitely some of the limitations.
All right, so when your kit comes in, you're going to get the power supply, obviously, and then the solar panel. And the solar panel is very, very simple to set up. I was sort of nervous because I never used solar power before, but trust me, I'm going to walk you through this. It's going to come in this case, and this case is very important. You're going to use this thing to actually set up these solar panels. Now, the thing is a little bit heavy. I'm not going to lie. You got a little bit of weight there, but you just open it up from the sides and you got to pull this thing out. Now, you're going to see some wires on the bottom of this thing. Don't freak out. I'm telling you, this thing is super easy. So we're just going to open this thing up, and you're going to want to put this, you might have to move it around a little bit, but you got to put it in direct sunlight. Now, today is a little bit of overcast, a little bit of cloud coverage, but we shot this during multiple days for this video. But you can see how this thing hooks up to the case. It's basically a stand, and it works very well. Now, if you get some wind, it might blow over, but you got a couple of latches on the bottom, the top, carabiners, if you will. And you want this thing to set up like this. You don't want to lay it flat down, because you want that reflective light coming off the back. The back will actually charge as well. So you're going to get around 200 watts, possibly full sun. But if you add like a reflective mirror in the back, well, that's going to work out a lot better for you. Check that out. I just wanted to say hi. Hello. Now, when you're setting this thing up, I'm just going to set it here for viewing purposes, and we're going to hook this up, but you want to put this in the shade behind it, but you're going to get a male and a female, and basically all this does is plugs right in to the back of the unit, like so. I'll show you here in a second, but you plug it in like that, right there, and then you plug it in like that, right there. Now, once you do that, all you have to do now is take this and plug it in the port 1 or port 2. This will accept 2 different solar panels. And you can see right now they're starting to charge. So we're bringing in, with this cloudy day, around 140, 130 watts. So it's actually halfway to where it should be. But as the clouds were moving in, you could see this thing was dropping from 70, it would go back up to 100. And 70 watts, that's really not a lot. If you're seeing any cloud coverage, you're really going to struggle charging this thing up. I'm just being honest with you and telling you how it is. You need to have direct sun. Now, the sun was coming out a little bit. The best I was able to do was around 200 watts. But again, if you put some type of reflective mirror behind that thing, you'll probably get up to 220 on a perfect condition day. But that was the high, about 199, 200 watts. Now, I was moving this thing around all day. I was trying to get the best coverage. I was putting it on different type of materials like the patio, the grass, and seeing if I can get some reflective light on the back, the ambient light, if you will. And again, the best I could really do is maybe 200. It would go down to 185. Most of my average was around the 180, 190 on the bright sunny days. 200, you're really getting lucky pushing that. Now around 10 a.m., 11 a.m., it was okay. That's what I was getting the 180s. When it was noon, the sun was the highest in the sky, so I was getting around the 200 on average, which again, that's pretty real nice. Like, now, if you don't have any problems charging this thing all day long and you're just going to use it at night, well, the 220 might work for you with that solar panel. But if you need something that's going to run a little bit faster, charge a little bit faster, you might want to go out and get a couple 400 watt panels. And I'll leave a link in the description below for those as well that you can hook up to this, and it would charge way faster. So you can see we're still around the 190 watts. This is around noon, 1 p.m. And this was on the next day. So we had a lot more sun in the sky. However, there was some cloud coverage, and you can see here that we're starting to come down a little bit. So even if you do have sun shining through some clouds, if it's not like direct sun, I'm telling you, these things, they will drop. So again, 192. But watch what happens right here. You can see the sun is still shining. I still got shadows on the ground, but we're dropping down to 47, 46 watts. And you can see, I mean, it's still sort of sunny, but just not pulling in that much energy. Now, you're going to see this thing drop on the input. And what I like about this is it's real time. So you can see charging time, 4 hours and 11 minutes. But if you just start losing sunlight, it'll readjust the charging rate. It's still telling you how much, but look at that bar up on top. You'll see it'll go down to 52. It'll start going down, then it'll spike when the sun comes back out. So it's very intuitive. It's real time. So you're getting the information that you need right offhand.
All right, let's start pushing this thing. We're going to start hooking stuff up to it. You got 3,400 max watts out. They claim that's 99% of all household appliances that can be run off this thing. So you're basically able to charge or run 15 different devices the way this thing's set up.
But before we do this, let me show you exactly why I needed this after the horrendous storm that luckily I was able to get on video. Oh my God! Let me.
Think, Clint, think. Safest place. Top floor? No. My truck. I can outrun it on my bicycle. I got it. First, I gotta open up all the windows.
Oh, listen, cuz I'm gonna go get myself a Philly cheesesteak, but when I come back, cuz I'm gonna get you. Oh, extra cheese whiz, here I come. Oh no. No. Oh no. Somebody help me. I pulled a muscle in my ace. It hurts so bad. My ace.
All right, so right now we're looking at 99 hours of runtime. We're at 99% of charge. Nothing's going in, nothing's coming out. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna power this on. I'm gonna start charging my phone. Now this is a Samsung 21S Plus. Now you can see 15 watts out. Really not too bad. I really would have liked to have seen them put like a charging station or a pad up on top of this. Unfortunately, they just didn't do that. All right, so next up is the Ego Rapid Charger. This is 550 watts to run this thing. So let's put a battery in there. As you can see, only 2 bars on there. We'll throw it in. Find a place for it right here and, well, plug it in. All right, you can see the fan kicked on, everything's running. So you can see, depending if the fan's running or not, this thing's jumping between like 220, 30, 40, or even 50. So that's how many out. We'll do the exact same with the Ryobi Not Ryobi 40-volt battery. This isn't a rapid charger, so about 285 watts. Plug this in and, well, watch it jump. Okay, so that's plugged in, it's going. We just jumped up to, so we're around 800 watts out right now. So let's bump it up. This is the Ryobi Not Ryobi air cannon. Let's plug her in. Plugged in, let's turn her on high. Now you're gonna see that pump up. So we're only looking at maybe an extra 30, 40 watts out. So this right here is the Milwaukee IA rapid charger. It's gonna take 2 batteries. Yep, we're gonna put one in here and one in there. So around 1200, 1100, in between 12 and 1100. But you can see we're only at how many hours? It's saying 1 hour to charge and run all this stuff. Let's try to overload this thing. That's my DeWalt shop vac, plug in. All right, the vacuum was just plugged in, it's on high. We're looking at 2000 watts. But this is saying 15 minutes. We're running 50 minutes and 93%. This thing is just sucking all the energy out. So 50 minutes of runtime. How about the Ryobi not Ryobi cooler? Let's plug that in. All right, let's see what this jumps up to. We're gonna hit the power button on the cooler. We're gonna bring it all the way down to -4 degrees. I have reviews for all this stuff, by the way. And I'm starting to run out of things to plug in. This is a 6-gallon California air generator. Oh yeah, only around 2400. All right, I got an idea. Router. I got a full-size router right here. Well, here we go. Oh, kicked out. Okay, so it said overload. You see that right? Yeah. That was just gonna draw too much. You can see that it basically saved itself from blowing up. All you have to do to basically reset this is shut it off. You can hit that reset button that I showed you in the beginning of the video, and it'll kick back on. I can charge one battery after another battery after another battery. I charged up like 7 Ego batteries and still had power to spare, so there's no issue with runtime on this thing. But let's move it over to appliances. Let's unplug the 40-volt Ryobi. Let's take out the Ego charger. You can see those hours are starting to climb. Now you have 4 hours. Let's remove the Milwaukee IA rapid charger. You're gonna see that's going up even more, 72%. We're at 15 hours, 94 hours. So this is where it gets pretty interesting. We're gonna plug this into the 110. This is the cord that comes with it to recharge it. So let's just throw this in here like so. But you see what's cool about this is I have this charge in, it's charging, it's saying 18 minutes until I'm fully charged, but I'm also now running my refrigerator and freezer off of this. You can see I'm pulling 134 watts out. I'm bringing in 1672. So as long as I keep that number up on top, larger than the number on the bottom, it'll still charge. However, what's cool about this is it's saying 17 minutes for the charge. If this was a larger number on the bottom, I was outputting more that I was bringing in. This would switch and tell me how much longer I had runtime wise. Let me show you one other really cool thing. I have this plugged in and I have my refrigerator plugged into it. So it's bringing in power and then discharging power. It's bringing in 67 and 71 watts. It's jumping. And you can also see that it's discharging the exact same amount of wattage. So it only brings in the amount that is needed to keep this thing at 100%. However, if I unplug this and I'm just discharging now, you can see right here that I'm putting out 67, 69 watts. When my refrigerator kicks on, it jumps up to about 100 to 120. It's also 90 degrees outside. So when the fan kicks on, when that refrigerant kicks on, starts pushing through that refrigerator, you're gonna see that jump to, again, around 120. But once that shuts down, it'll bring it back down. 23 hours on that refrigerator freezer. The other really cool thing about this is, well, it has an app. So if I click on this, it's Bluetooth RAN. It tells me how much time I have running. Tells me how many watts are going in, how many output watts. It'll tell me how many solar watts I got. If you're running a lot of things that I just did in the video, well, you want this X boost turned on, but if I bring it off, it's more of like an economy mode. You can time things out. You can take the beeps off. You won't hear anything when you're turning it on or off. You can change the car inputs, the smart generator, auto. You can change the screen times out. You can do AC timeout, unit timeout. You can rename it if you want. It'll tell you how hot or cold it's running. And one more thing on the back right here is if I switch this, I can go to slow charging or fast charging. The fast charging is going to be a little bit noisier with the fan. If I bring this down, you won't even hear this thing. Now they're saying that this thing will last 10 years and you'll still have 80% of the battery life expectancy. But what they're claiming is you can charge this thing up all the way down and down 3,000 times. And at the end of that, you're still gonna have 80% of that battery power life in there. 3,000 charges or 10 years of use of this thing and you'll still have 80% of the battery power. But this is what I'm gonna tell you about the solar panels. The one that comes for 220 watts, you have to be in optimal conditions. If that sun is not shining directly on those solar panels, well, you're looking at 30 watts of charging. It's gonna take you forever. But what's nice about it is you can buy the bigger 400 watt panels, you hook 2 of those up and maybe, I don't know, a third 220. This will allow you to put up to 1,000 watts of solar power into this at the same time. So you can mix and match and just get the best bang for your buck. And you don't have to use the Ecoflow brand. You can use third parties if you want to go a little cheaper. All in all, I absolutely love this thing. I think this is probably the best power supply I've ever had when it comes to just plain old battery. And if you don't mind this thing charging all day long in the sun and you're going to use it at night, this might be a really great option for you. So remember, to get that optimal 1000 watts, you have to be in optimal position when it comes to the sun. I mean, that's best case scenario, the 1000 watts. I mean, middle of the desert, Mojave, Death Valley. So just remember that before going into this. If it's just like a partly cloudy day, you're not going to be able to charge at 100%.
All in all, this is a great power supply, built very well. You get the 5-year warranty, and it's just easy to use. Again, you know, the solar panels are a little bit expensive. What can I tell you? But if this is the way you're going, if you're living off grid, you're camping, you're fishing, you're hunting, and you got some optimal sunlight, well, this might be the way to go. And I'll tell you, this is probably one of the best on the market today. So I'm very happy with this. I want to know what you think. Leave me a sweet comment in the comment section below. Smash that like button if this video has helped you. Check out these videos right here, and we'll be back with more videos soon.